What's up, John?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going good, brother.
That
So
was an
we have
awesome
an
intro,
interesting
man.
tuning in from all over the world. Shout out to Gabriel, shout out to Tim, shout out to Jen, shout out to Jogi. And I just introduced you to the people, man. But
Yeah,
I
man.
want you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your story, brother, before we dive deep in our topic, finding your niche, the hidden factors of getting your job in big tech.
Yeah, man. So right now I'm on a team at Amazon called New Business Innovation. And so we build products to allow customers on Amazon to do customizations on products. So we have this whole tool set, design tools to kind of upload images and upload text and different fonts and things like that. And we have some really fascinating challenges to solve internally because we're a platform that basically sits on the entire infrastructure of Amazon. And so I work with an amazing team, great group of people. I'm just super thankful to be where I'm at right now on the team. So.
Yeah, and it's been incredible because I've been your best friend for about 2 years now.
Yeah,
Everyone
man.
knows the two of us. We're like, stuck by the hip. And
Yeah.
you've been really kind of leading this charge on what the future of work should look like. But more importantly, helping people. You have over 20,000 followers on LinkedIn, right? And really educating people on how do they land jobs in big tech, right? Given both of our backgrounds working in tech, such as Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, and really have been in this space for the last year. You've been actually one of those really prevalent people on LinkedIn who have just you've been educating the masses. So I'm really excited to just, be talking about breaking into big tech with you and really giving people the tips. Because I know there's a lot of people in my community who are often talking about, dude, Tim, how did you get into Microsoft? How did you get into Facebook? How did you get, how did you work with Google? How are you kind of leading this charge now where you've been in tech for so long?
Yeah.
Often they are in roles in healthcare or in accounting, but they really want to pivot into high tech roles. They really want to work in tech, but they don't know how to do it.
Right.
And I'm excited because we're about to give them the tips.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of y'all watching right now who are all over the world. You've worked, you're probably working in accounting right now. You're probably working in an industry.
Marketing.
Right. But I think, the most powerful thing about getting a job in tech is you have to be able to speak to your credibility and you have to really build a robust profile for yourself. And really for John and I, the first point that we think is necessary, if you want to break into big tech, if you want to get a job in high tech, you need to be able to create a tailored LinkedIn profile from that to go. And John, I know you can speak to this a little bit, man.
Yeah. So I have weekly, I have people reaching out to me on LinkedIn. John, what do I do? How do I break in? Just the general theme of questions are around this topic. And one of the biggest missing links that people have is that in school, we're taught to be generalists, right? In school, we're supposed to be well-rounded, right? That's the topic that everybody has, be a well-rounded individual. Yeah. But there's a huge disconnect from the education system to the real world, right? When you get out into the job world, you got to think about recruiters. They have a bucket of jobs that are predefined, that have job titles, and they're trying to meet their quota and fill those roles, right? And so I oftentimes, when I get these messages, the first thing I do is I go to people's LinkedIn profiles and I see somebody who says, I have a background in sales and in marketing and in operations and all these disciplines, right? Because they're trying to present themselves with the hat of the educational mindset, right? Because the education system told them to be well-rounded.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest trap that you can get into, is you have to stand for something on your LinkedIn profile, right? You can't say that you are multidisciplinary because recruiters only understand you as one discipline. And so, but then there's this fear that kind of creeps up for a lot of people, but I can offer so many things, right? And the way that I like to get around this topic, because I had to resolve this topic for myself as well, right? Back in 2014, when I was broke, I had no job prospect, and the first thing I did was I put on the hat of generalist, and I said I can be all these things to all these companies. And I was wondering, why am I not getting any traction?
Mm.
And then I remember a professor came up to me and she was like, well, I was trying to get some help from her. I was like, hey, can you look at my LinkedIn profile? Can you look at my resume? And she's like, John, you're a master of nothing.
Wow.
And I was like, but honestly, at that point, I still didn't change my resume or my LinkedIn profile because
Yeah.
I didn't believe her, right? Because it was so ingrained
Wow.
in me that I needed to be a generalist to get hired.
Yeah.
That feedback didn't mesh with my mind.
Mm.
But now it's funny because as soon as I started saying that I am John, I am a product manager on my
Mm.
resume and LinkedIn profile, and I started owning that and creating the tailored resume and the
Yeah.
tailored not even just the tailored resume and LinkedIn profile, but the tailored conversation during recruiter
Mm.
calls or the tailored conversation during meetup groups, right? That then led to people saying, "Oh, I understand what you are. I understand what you could deliver, and now I'm gonna, help take action with you or help you kind of get to the finish line."
But because they
So
understood what your value
they
proposition was,
understand what your value proposition is.
where
Yeah,
what you fit into in terms of the scheme of things within the organization, right?
that's right. That's right, man. Because the recruiter's job is not to try to look at your resume and go, where could I fit this well-rounded person?
Mm.
The recruiter's job is to fill a role and
Yeah.
do it as quickly as possible because they have a massive quota to fill and they're going to run out of time and they have to meet their numbers.
Mm. So, John, talk to me, man, because we've been using LinkedIn for the last 3 to 5 years of our lives, right?
Right.
People who cannot create that tailored LinkedIn profile or don't know how to, and they're interested in pivoting into tech. What do you encourage them to do on their LinkedIn from a tactical perspective to start having that targeted LinkedIn profile so they can be discovered for a role in high tech? And you know what? Let me give you a pause real quick. Eno is loving your comment. She's loving it because she herself had a background in accounting and she was able to pivot into tech. So for the people who want to get like Eno, what are some tips that they can take to start having that targeted LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, there's two main things, right? The first thing is, well, actually, there's three, right? The first is the headline on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
The headline is the gateway. The headline is search. Okay, so everything on LinkedIn is driven by search.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn is the world's largest search engine for recruiters, right? So it's just like Google. So that's how you have to think about that with that mindset on, right? Like, oh, okay, world's biggest search engine, and I've just jammed a whole bunch of keywords in my headline that make no sense from a searchability perspective. So the number one tactical thing that you need to do is you need to actually put your headline as a job title, specific job title, right? What value are you going to deliver as a job title, and make sure that your industry is set to tech and that your location is set, right? Because people are filtering by location, people are filtering by industry, and they're filtering by title. So that's the gateway, right?
That's so true. It's so true. So I mean,
the gateway.
Even if you're trying to pivot too, don't be scared to put on your title, right under your name, aspiring product manager or aspiring product marketer or aspiring sales rep, right?
Right. Or you could say product management.
Product management.
Right? Not necessarily product manager, but you can say product management, right? That's how you bridge the gap. But you're like, well, I'm not there yet. I'm going to create a narrative around it. I don't have the title, so I can't necessarily put product manager. But as a student, for example, you would say aspiring product manager. And if you're not in the role yet, you could say product management.
Yeah, I love that. Right. I love that. And that's really, really powerful. So thank you for sharing that. And I think our next discussion point around this, if you want to break into big tech, look, you might be in a role right now where you have no idea how do I communicate to that organization, right? Before I even enter the interview process, what I have to offer. And I think the biggest thing is you have to understand that you need to know the vision, mission, and priorities of the company, right? Their business gaps. And I'll give you a little story. Before I actually even worked with Microsoft in the past, which was a former company I worked with, going in, I was already using LinkedIn to talk about everything related to artificial intelligence, cloud. Because at that time, I realized Microsoft was really going in on those various technologies. They were really interested in investing in it. So when I got into my interview process, with Microsoft, the recruiter asked me, what projects have you been working on? What are you passionate about when it comes to Microsoft?
Right, right.
I love the fact that you guys are focusing on AI. I'm really interested in artificial intelligence and bots. I was really giving them the value that they were seeking because at that time as an organization, they were really interested in people who had skills in AI and who were really good at product management. So when you understand the vision, mission, and priorities of the company, you start realizing that you need to speak to the company and with the company instead of talking about something different. And John, really quick, man, there's people who are loving this live stream, man, and they're saying,
good.
Jean. She's saying this is a fear many people have. The fear is that by focusing, they will miss out on being all things to all people.
Right,
and you are making
right.
a point, Jean. That's a great point. Shout out to you. And then
that's awesome.
My girl, Mrs. Konopo, she's saying, thank you for mentioning that the LinkedIn headline is the gateway. Absolutely right, Mrs. Konopo. It is definitely the gateway. John had a great point with that. John, I would love to get your thoughts on this. When it comes to understanding the vision, mission, and priorities of the company, how do you think people can do this effectively, my friend?
Yeah, so whenever I go into an interview process, like I'm very tactical about it, and I'm digging into every bit of content that not only the company produces, but mid-level managers, people on LinkedIn. Like I am literally trolling people. I'm trolling the company. I'm going on YouTube. I'm going everywhere I can to find the tone of voice people use in the way that they speak. I'm looking for keywords that they use. A lot of organizations, they'll use the word alignment, right? Yeah. That's like a buzzword. But like, for example, when I was at American Express, that was like a hated word. You would never use alignment, right? Because people are like, oh my God, do we need to align on aligning on the alignment? Right? Like, right. So, but honestly, the majority of people get hung up on not having the right tone, not knowing the right keywords. And the way that they're able to do that is by doing a ton of research, right? You understand the vision and the mission and the priorities of the company, then your answers can be tailored to that. But if you don't have that foundation to stand on, then you get into a meeting and you start saying the word alignment over and over, and you don't know you're shooting yourself in the foot. Right?
Wow, yeah.
Because subconsciously, the team, that organization, they're like, oh my God, they don't even know. It's an unconscious bias in any scenario, right? They don't even know why they didn't necessarily like the interview. They just go, that didn't feel right.
Yeah.
It's so right? Weird. It's so weird, right? It's so weird. But yeah, and a great example of this is Facebook, for example, versus Amazon. So Amazon has one leadership principle called disagree and commit. And Amazon has this kind of healthy tension that's involved in that particular leadership principle, right? You're supposed to kind of disagree on a topic. You're like, I vehemently disagree on this, right? Yeah. And you're sitting across the table from somebody and they go, well, I disagree too, but we have to make a decision, right? So somebody has to commit.
Yeah.
Whereas at Facebook, if you were to display an answer in a way that's like confrontational and disagree and commit style, that's like a negative thing there, right? Because people want to come to a happy agreement on a particular topic. So small nuances, massive difference in the way that you can approach interviews.
And it's so interesting because now you're talking about understanding the culture of that organization.
Culture, right.
Interview. And, one thing that a lot of tech companies are good at is that they put their culture in front display on their website, on their YouTube, on LinkedIn, right? And these are all avenues that you can use to start sourcing information and getting even context of like, what is that organizational culture about? And another really thing you can do tactically as well is if you're trying to work in a tech company and you really want to pursue a role in tech, whether you've been in the workforce for 10, 15 years, try to find influencers from that company, people who are really active on LinkedIn, who are always sharing gems as well as information about what it's like to work at that company, and maybe reach out to them for an informational interview to kind of get a sense of what are the current priorities of the company, what is the vision, mission, and like hear it from someone that's actually working there. So you made a great point with that, John. And people are loving what you're saying, bro. They're loving what we're saying. Joji saying is like very good information about LinkedIn headline. Thank you for your valuable information. Thank you, Joji. Mike is saying, John Marty on the live chat. Yes, Mike, we are on live and center, brother. And Tiana is saying, great, Tim and John. What are some tips on ways to get into tech industry if you have no tech experience? What do you think, John? That's a really interesting question.
Yeah, it's powerful, but it happens to students and it happens to career professionals. And the way that you bridge that gap is that you create projects, right? You literally go out there and you create a portfolio of work, and that's the key, right? And people go, well, like, how can I create a portfolio of work if I'm not working at the company? But what you do is you create case studies, right? You create writing samples, you create thought leadership pieces, right? It could take you 20 hours to create maybe a document or a project where you're like, I studied the crap out of this topic. I know it like the back of my hand. Here's the deliverable that I would be able to offer in that situation. And so you're putting your body of work and your body of thought out to the world. And LinkedIn is a perfect platform for that, right? Because you can put rich media, video, you can put articles. Those are the types of things that when you get into a conversation with a recruiter or you get into a coffee chat meeting, you can have that conversation and say, it's not my resume. It's here's my passion and my interest, right? And here's my body of work for the passion and interest that I have. That is the key, because the resume is just an arbitrary piece of paper and it doesn't really talk about somebody's passion. There's a lot of generic keywords in there too, right? It's like, I'm results oriented, blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, nobody cares, right? So that's my 2 cents, you know? But like when
you are not limited, is what John is saying. Like,
no, you are not limited. It is unlimited.
Especially with tech jobs, right? Because you actually are seeing a lot of companies like Amazon and Google and Facebook who are saying you don't necessarily have to have a degree in tech. As long as you have motivation or you've received the certifications, you have the skills, and you're passionate about it, we'll hire you, right? So I think that was a great question, Tiana.
Tiana.
You just have to put your best foot forward and start really integrating yourself within the tech community, especially if you're living in an Oakland or a Bay Area, or you're looking to move to an Austin or Seattle or even a New York. What does the ecosystem look like in those different areas? Start integrating yourself in the community, and definitely use online platforms such as LinkedIn to drive thought leadership about how you can add value. And this is our next point. What are some of your transferable skills? Right?
That's right.
So
that's right.
I think one of the things that John and I have noticed, because we've been working in tech for over 5 years now, and John has been even working in tech for over 10 plus years. And often people don't realize that even given whatever your background is, you could have been a former designer, you could have been an accountant, you could have been working as a nurse. As long as you are always communicating your transferable skills, regardless of the role, that may be relevant to a job in tech. And I'll give you a great example of this. Prior to the work that I did working with Microsoft as a product manager, I was a designer. I actually went to school for design. But I actually had my interview to get the role at Microsoft. I told them that one of the things that I uniquely bring to the table as an AI product manager is the fact that I have design skills. Now, for those of you who don't know about product management is one of the most integrated disciplines in the world. You have to be able to speak marketing. You have to be able to speak product design. You have to be able to speak about product management. You have to understand how to work with business stakeholders. It's a really dynamic role. But because I was able to speak about my transferable skill sets, being a design major and someone that's passionate about user experience, I was actually able to get the role because that made me different, right? So given whatever your background is, when you think about what are your transferable skills, you might find your uniquely differentiated value proposition that makes you stand out as a candidate. John, I would love to get your thoughts on this, man. How can people determine what their transferable skills are?
Yeah. The main thing is that when you start, like our point number 1 was the job title, right? Because if you can narrow yourself into a title, then you can narrow yourself into a group of companies that you want to work for. Ideally, you want to have a really short list. You want to have like 3 to 5 companies on that list and say, I'm going to hyper target against that. If I've done all the research on the mission and the vision and everything about that company, and I've met with people from that organization doing coffee chats, I know the keywords and I know the nuances, right? Once I know those things, then I could start saying, okay, there are transferable skills here that relate to this job title that have a specific set of things that I need to showcase, right? It all ladders up, right? You're not going to talk about the experience from the 90s, right? That is unrelated. You're going to put those as line items, just like single liners on your resume. You're going to try not to talk about any of that stuff. You're going to say, here are the elements that I can pull out. If you went to school and there was one class you did and your whole degree that was related to UX design, put that under your education section and say, this is what I learned of you in UX design, right? And then put your about section, and you could say, here's the project.
Like an account or something,
right? Right, absolutely. So everything ladders up, right? Transferable skills are the hardest things. People are like, well, how do I bridge the gap? It's like everybody's multifaceted. Everybody has a million different things, right? It's just about how you communicate it.
It's true. And I think it's interesting because, we meet people who feel as if their prior role that they didn't really get any skills because they weren't necessarily working for a high-tech company, right? They feel as if, well, because I was working at McDonald's as a service worker, how, the distance from that job at McDonald's, maybe managing a team or being a cashier to working at a Facebook is so far. But here's the thing. If you worked at McDonald's and you were on the front line, you were a cashier, and you were every day meeting customers, what you wanted to work with Amazon, like John works with Amazon.
Right.
One of the unique things that you can do and speak to as your transferable skill is the fact that you're an effective communicator, right? That you're great, you're customer obsessed. Right?
You deal with adversity.
You deal with adversity.
You deal with people who are pissed off all the time, right? No, seriously. No, like seriously, these are big things, right? But I think people kind of don't see themselves as where they're going, and they're like, well, how can I get this job? This is where I am today, right? There's like a big gap for me to get there. So, but all those skills matter.
So, don't be afraid to speak to your transferable skills. For those people who are watching right now and you really want a job and you really want to find and build a career in technology, understand that wherever you're at now, based on where you're going, it's not that far of a gap. There's not that far of a distance, but you have to be focused and you have to understand how to speak to your transferable skills, especially. And, throughout this live, we've really been talking about the number one thing, right? Is one, understanding how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, making sure it's tailored. Number two, being able to speak to the vision, mission, values, as well as the priorities of the company. And last but not least, what we're recently just talking about, being able to talk to your transferable skills. And Endo has been saying we are speaking the lingo. Talia is like, hallelujah, y'all are blessing me. I love what y'all are talking about. Mike is saying, Austin, man, they're going in, right? Shout out to Austin Belchak, who's an amazing career coach in New York. He's a LinkedIn influencer as well. Shout out to you, Austin. And Janine is saying, love this. You all are giving me gems. Hey, Austin, everyone's having a conversation in the comments. Gerald is saying, what tip would you give to someone who wants to get into the high-level tech sales role but has no experience in tech but have professional experience inside sales experience?
Okay.
So inside sales experience.
Yeah. So look at Amazon, right? They have thousands and thousands of jobs, right? And it was interesting. I had a guy that good buddy of mine. We both did an MBA program together, and he was like a district manager for a building supply company. And so we scoured the internet, and we actually found a sales role in the building supply, building supply group within Amazon, right? Because they're selling building supplies, right? So they're looking for like account managers and sales managers to kind of drive that business. And so if you don't really think that there's a parallel there, but there actually is at a lot of organizations, you just have to dig it out. And most companies, they're looking for somebody who can really deliver value from day one. Right? Like they're really only going to hire you. They don't want to have to teach you. They want you to take ownership and deliver from day one. So those transferable skills are so critical, right? But I was able to weave a narrative for him that, hey, he's been district manager for a $50 million organization in building supplies. This guy deserves a shot at this Amazon role, which is totally an unrelated industry, right? But I got him an interview right away because of that situation, right? So you got to find like that hook.
The hook.
And you got to find the hook. You got to find the hook, right? But like that is the main way that somebody, for example, like somebody who's writing a book, for example, right?
Yeah.
They have to create the hook, and we're not taught that from a resume standpoint, right? We have to bring that mentality of writing into our resume and into how we communicate. Like, what is the hook?
I love that, John. I absolutely love that. And I think, one thing that you have to start seeing yourself now in today's day and age is that you are the product.
Right. You are the product.
And if you are able to understand your if you're able to speak to the vision, mission, and priorities of the company, and you're able to optimize your online profile to a point where people are starting to source you and discover you for opportunity, you will be a very highly valuable product that makes sense and aligns to the fit of whatever company that you're looking to work with, especially if you don't necessarily have a background in tech. And John is, and I think you're speaking volumes to the people who don't necessarily know what a hook is, right? A hook is your core value proposition, right? No matter what background you have, like literally, I'm telling y'all this, John and I, we've come from, not being in tech to being one of the leading thought leaders and successful and accomplished, speakers and influencers in this space. So going from where you were at to where we're at now, or where we were to where we're becoming, I mean, it wasn't that much of a leap, but we had to, understand what our value proposition is. What could we speak to, and how can we add value no matter what organization we work in or no matter what role we're in. So you really understand that it's a journey, but if you do the deep work, you'll accomplish it. So I want to go up to some of our live viewers right now, John. Eno is saying, trademark that, John, or I'm stealing. So trademark the hook. Gerald is saying, right, yeah, man, I need some help transferring that. Breaking out of the college-driven generalization mindset is hard. So Gerald, we love that. And in fact, we have a surprise for you that we're going to share with you in a few minutes on how we can support you. And Mrs. Kanopo is saying, it's a show me what you can do type of industry, right? Preach. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's absolutely a show me culture that we're living in right now.
That's right.
Now, earlier on, I said we were going to have a surprise for y'all. And I want to announce the surprise. So John and I, we are creating a course. And if you go to breakintobigtech.com, we are actually creating a course for those of you who want to pivot and find and create a career in high tech. So for those of you who want to pivot and create a career in high tech, we have created a course called Break Into Big Tech. And essentially, we are going to give you the tools, the frameworks, and the mindset that you need to get a job in tech if you don't have it now. And if you go to our website, breakintobigtech.com, you'll see everything that we list in terms of one-on-one career support, the entire course, which we actually use an amazing tool called Thinkful to create it. It's really curated and very polished. And more importantly, we are going to be building a community through this. So we are actually looking to have 30 members, just 30 members for our pilot program to be a part with us. John, I would love for you to go into more details about our course.
Yeah. So it breaks down. I mean, it's a real passion project for us, right? Because we've seen the insane salaries in the tech community, and we've seen, I mean, me personally, like breaking into tech in general has completely transformed my life. And so really this is just a full breakdown of everything we've learned as live 5-week session with students, going through everything step by step, Q&A, everything from LinkedIn profile, where the gaps are, where people's sticking points are with their LinkedIn profile and resumes, like what's holding them back as far as a communication standpoint, going through interview answers, right? And then learning how to leverage traffic and social media to be a brand of one, right? To be the hook, right? To be the hook. And here's an example, right? Here's an example. In 2019, I had 6.5 million views of my LinkedIn posts.
Wow.
Spread around the world. I only posted 150 times and I had 6.5 million views, and LinkedIn gave me the title of LinkedIn Top Voice for 2019.
Wow.
And it's crazy because all I was doing was sharing my thoughts with the world, right? But because I did that, I gained a massive amount of traffic, right? So every month I look at my LinkedIn profile and I have 30,000 or more people that have viewed my LinkedIn profile every month.
Wow.
That is insane. You think about this. Think about the script that you are flipping when it comes down to this situation. Think about this for a second, right? You submit a resume blindly to a job site and you pray to God that somebody gives you a call. What Tim and I do, which is so much different, and it just takes a shift in mindset, is we are bringing people to us, right? I am driving traffic as a brand of one to me. And now I have organizations like YouTube and Facebook and Google hitting me up all the time, right? I'm not the one going out. That's right. I'm not the one going out, right? So that's the passion project really that Tim and I have been mulling over for the past 2 years. And like, we're finally at that point where we want to share that. So
we want to help. We want to support people who want to create a career in high tech, because I think, the world is only becoming more technologically driven. And if you feel as if it would be in your best interest to pivot and create a career in tech, given that we're people that have been in this space and are leading the charge on how do you build a tech career, especially if you don't necessarily have the background, right? I grew up in the hood. And it was never, no one ever told me, look, you're going to get you should become a technologist, or you could become a product manager or a CEO of your own company and pursue your own tech career. So it's really important that we, for us, it's creating this project where we can educate the masses on how do you thrive, how do you create a thriving career in tech if you didn't necessarily go to school for it, or you have that really unconventional background, you're a mother, you're a father, or you were in sales, but you don't necessarily how to do enterprise sales. We can support you, and this Break Into Big Tech course is the course for you. If you go to breakintobigtech.com, you'll find the entire course, and we are looking for our first 30 members to become a part of the pilot program. And y'all going to be our community. Y'all going to be our baby, right? So
that's right. That's right.
You hold your hand throughout the entire process and support you as much as possible through one-to-one mentorship and the entire 9. So we are really, really, really excited to have you all be a part of the Break Into Big Tech movement.
Yes, we are.
I hope that you all sign up for our course, because we're gonna make sure it's fire for you all. All right. So thank you all for all of those who are watching live. John is on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. If you have any questions for us, please reach out to us on breakintobigtech.com website. We have our email and a frequently asked questions list on our website, so you can reach out if you have any questions. And Gerald says, sign me up. I love it, Gerald. I love it, man. John, do you have any parting words for our awesome live viewers? We have over 100 people viewing live right now, which is crazy.
Yeah. All right, let me give you some parting words here. Are you ready for this? Okay. One of the biggest articles that hit every year on Inc. magazine and Forbes magazine is the top paying salaries and jobs in the country, right? And here's a misconception. The number one thing that always gets listed is doctor. Okay? Doctor, they say the top average salary of a doctor is like $160,000.
Yeah.
Okay? Then software engineer gets listed like midway through as like $120,000 or $130,000 a year, right? I don't know why every website seems to forget that tech doubles these salaries by a mile.
It's true.
And here's the fascinating thing, right? Like, I was just looking, there's this amazing website called levels.fyi. Levels.fyi gives you an idea of kind of the salary ranges that you get into product management and engineering, enterprise sales, things like that, right? A Facebook senior product manager is averaging a salary of $450,000 a year. Okay.
Wow.
This stuff doesn't get talked about when Forbes posts their top 10 highest paying jobs list, right? And the other crazy thing is, when you get into tech, here's the crazy thing. When you get into tech and you have that logo associated to your name on LinkedIn,
It sets you up for life.
And people filter for you as a recruiter,
Yeah.
and they filter by top tech and industry and location, whatever, then those recruiters call you and they go, what is it going to take to steal you away?
Wow.
That is the leverage that we start talking about in this course. Right.
Yes,
So,
yes, John.
yeah.
Love that, brother. John said it best, y'all. John said
There
it
we
best.
go.
Y'all sign up for the course, breakintobigtech.com. And please share this video within your network. You know, today we really talked about how do you find your niche? And we share with you some of the hidden factors that may be preventing you from landing that job in big tech. So please, and also tell your mama, tell your father, you know,
tell your mama
who wants to get into tech, bigtech.com. You know, we're really ready to build a supportive community and movement around this course. You know, this has been something on John and I's heart and mind for the last, 5 years that we've known each other now, John?
It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time coming, man.
Something such as this, and we are finally getting to it. So we want you all to be a part of our movement, and more importantly, we want to make sure that you can change your life by pursuing that dream role that you want in tech.
Because it changed ours, man.
Career in tech as well. So we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Mrs. Canopo says, of course, I'm the product, right? And
you're the product. The hook. Be the hook.
So Mrs. Miller, Saratu, the course is starting in 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. We're going to start our pilot program, and you can go on our website and you can check. We have our prices. We have everything on our website. So please check it out. And, you know, if you have any questions, reach out to us from our website.
Yeah, just hit us up. Yep.
Yeah, just hit us up, breakintobigtech.com. It has everything on it. And, you know, with that said, we really appreciate y'all for tuning in live to another
thank you, guys.
episode featuring my best friend and buddy, John Marty. And once again, y'all, Break Into Big Tech. It's here. Go check it out, breakintobigtech.com. And we're happy to have you as a part of the movement.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Peace.
All right. Later.